Quan said working and just waiting on the universe to align. No worries. Watch your YouTube shorts last night. Oh, you did. I gotta check my comments. Set some great intentions for the week. That makes me so happy. Oh, that makes me so happy. Hi, I love you. Yeah, okay. Good morning, Jack. It was such a weird experience, but we're good. It was a weird time earlier for those that were on the live a little earlier. It was just an interesting tech glitch, but we shall prevail. Okay. Rahana, we missed you. How have you been? How have you been? Please tell us everything. Okay. Yeah, I think it's okay now, Jack. Honestly, I really don't know. I'm just hoping that it is, and I feel like that's really all I have to give is that like I hope that it works. But yeah, it was saying that the live like had a replay, and I was just like watching the replay, and I'm like, when did this happen? Because I'm literally on live right now, so it was a weird moment. Melissa, good morning, good morning. But yeah, that was strange, very odd. But we're going to talk about Scorpio season today, and we're going to talk about what that looks and feels like, because a lot of people tend to struggle with Scorpio season, which I think is so interesting. But I guess it's interesting because a lot of my placements are in Scorpio, so this is really a time where I like come alive, if you will. But I can also appreciate that because of how tapped in and in tuned I am with Scorpio energy, I tend to be able to help people through a lot of transitions and dark periods in their life. So we're going to talk about what that can look and feel like for you. And then we're going to do a card pull and just see what energy is coming up for us. So today's the last day of Libra season. And then tomorrow we will officially be in Scorpio season. Super spooky season for those that love to like, there's a different energy that comes with Scorpio season. And it can make you feel like you're unraveling. It can make you feel like you're shedding old ways. And sometimes, if we're not intentionally shedding and it starts to happen, we're like, what is going on? And not ask for this at all. It can feel very involuntary, but it's necessary, right? When you start to look at the year through astrology, you notice that there are certain months where you are supposed to be outward and be seen. And there are certain seasons, not months, because they, split the months in half. And then there's certain seasons where you're being internal and you're working on that inner world. Scorpio season is definitely an internal season. It's not one to really be outside. It's really one to be inside, focusing on what you're cultivating in your inner world and making sure that that is aligned to what you want. And then you enter Sagittarius season, where it's like the adventure, the luck, the fun. It's a time for you to go ahead and explore and put into practice all you've been cultivating inward, right? Libra season is a time to be outside, to experience the beauty, to have that Venusian energy, right? Virgo season is an internal work time to get organized. What do you like? What don't you like? We have a nice flow that allows us to start and restart again, right? But yes, the full moon was a lot. I definitely was coming down from my cosmic high. I've had crazy insomnia since the full moon, which was fun. And I say fun very sarcastically. I genuinely enjoy sleeping. So I was not excited about having to navigate insomnia again. I was just like, let's wrap this up. I had to literally bathe myself in magnesium oil yesterday, like to force myself to go to sleep, because I don't like to use like sleep supplements. I tend to have very vivid, sad dreams when I use that. So I'm like, I just need something else. I literally took a magnesium bath, did magnesium salt all over my chest. I'm just like, this needs to work. I need to go to sleep. I'm tired, okay? And I still went to sleep like 1 a.m. So I'm hoping that today is different, because I just can't live like this, I just can't live like this. Okay. It's been great seeing you, Rana, at 808 Meditations. Yay! I've been good. Normal sleep patterns have returned, thankfully. I'm wishing this on me. I'm wishing this on me. The last full moon was a lot. So happy to be here. Yes. Insomnia is my favorite. Yeah, I'm just like, I love this for me. Yeah, sleep is tough. Sleep is tough. But what I've realized too is that because you're about to go into a different season, and this is considered to be like a darker season, right? Like, when you think of Scorpio, you think of like death, rebirth. Some people think about like phoenix energy, like the burning and rising from the ashes tends to happen around this time. Lots of black cat energy, witchy, spooky things. And you're going to start to notice that even like your natural psychic abilities, your intuition will probably get a lot stronger. It tends to get stronger during water seasons anyway. But Scorpio in particular is the water sign that is fixed. So the energy is way more certain. There's not a lot of movement. When we talk about Scorpios, we talk about like the iceberg, right? Where you get like that tip of the iceberg, but then there's all of that underneath, that subconscious work. That's really how you would identify the Scorpio in the element of water. Whereas Pisces is more of like a mist, right? There's a lot of movement. It's very airy, very it symbolizes like a veil too, because it's the last sign, so it has a sequence with death as well. And you have the Cancer energy, which is like in and out of water. There's movement there. There's not a lot of movement in Scorpio, so if you find yourself feeling a little constricted, I would love for you to lean into that, because there's something there for you. If there's a discipline that's going to happen with you being able to lean into discomfort a little longer this season. Okay, I don't think it's going to be a smooth season. I would like to give you guys that type of like insight. Like, it's going to be so easy to get through. I'm not 100% sure that's the case. However, I do know that you will get through it. And as you get through it, you will start to notice so much about who you are, your level of resiliency, and just how effortless it can be to transition, to transform if you allow it to happen. Okay? There we go. Likewise, Jack, benefit from the of insomnia. The 808 meditation is 2:08 in the morning a.m. for me here. Oh my goodness. Rahat, if you can like send me an email or like a direct message of time frames that work for where you're out, for where you're at, so that I can have more things set up too. That would be really helpful. Hello, hello. Yes. So I figured we start off with the card reading first, because why not? And then we'll go into the meditation. If you guys have any questions or any concerns about the energy that's coming up right now for you in particular, feel free to leave like a question in the comments. If you're watching the replay, you're more than welcome to leave a question in the replay comments, and then I can always respond to you. Okay? Yes, thank you. Whoa. Okay. I know, right? I feel the coming weeks may have upheaval. There's going to be a ton of upheaval. It's Scorpio season. It's so funny because I literally smile through these moments and people are like, girl, this is like that's not great. But it comes with the territory. Like, it comes with Scorpio season. Scorpio season is very moody. It's very dark. It's very heavy. There's a lot of wisdom there. People tend to experience a lot of resistance because we have this cultural defiance against darkness, that is like this evil thing. And we've talked about this plenty of times on this platform. And people who understand that darkness is where the wisdom is, that darkness is a part of living, that is not inherently evil, tend to navigate this season a lot easier than people who are like light warriors and, just want to like be rainbow and sunshine all the way through the season. It's like, yeah, I mean, if that works for you and you get through the season like that, amazing. But like, I just don't, it doesn't have a great track record of helping you get through it. This is really the time to lean in, to face fears, to address fears, to soothe fears, to acknowledge that you even have fears. A lot of that comes up during this time. But the reason why people tend to struggle through it is because they don't utilize that divine source of support. So again, we talked about how October is an ancestral month. This is the month of the ancestors. If you're struggling through facing fears, if you're struggling through some type of resistance, it's because it's an invitation for you to utilize your ancestors, utilize your angels, your deities, whoever you call on to in your time of need, to utilize that supernatural power to help you navigate it. It's not for you to try to figure out on your own. Like, there's never a season where that's called for, but especially for Scorpio season, because you are going to dive into parts of you that you may think are too dark, or you may think are super icky or cringy. And to know that these parts are still a part of you can make you feel a certain way. And when you have that divine support, when you're leaning in and using this divine wisdom to help you navigate it, it doesn't feel as cringy anymore. It's you understand that it's necessary for your transformation. You're Scorpio? Okay, my birthday's the 28th. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday for you. Right? So it's so important to remember that. I know my other people smile. I know. I literally was like, yeah, it's gonna totally be like chaos. There's gonna be a lot of chaos for sure. Like I don't want to sound like a omen, you know. I'm trying to figure out like how do you go about saying this, but it's just like yeah, there's gonna be chaos, but chaos is creation, right? Chaos is necessary. It's not something that we should be trying to avoid. It's something that we should be preparing for because it's inevitable. Chaos is like change. That it's going to come. It's going to happen. Um, what really matters is if you are prepared for it, and if you're not prepared for it, then like you know, it's not gonna be great. You know. My daughter has a lot of energy. She's having a hard time. My heart goes out to her. She's not on 10 heavy. She's growing. It happens. The growing pains are painful, you know, like they're not easy to feel through. However, they literally provide so much. I was talking to my girlfriend about this last night and how she was just complimenting me on how I was able to transition this year and I was able to transform and lean into the space. And as I'm ending my solar year, you know, next week is my birthday, literally a week from now. And I'm in this very reflective mode. And I tend to be in reflective mode during Libra season, which notoriously has been very difficult for me. Like Libra season is usually very hard for me to get through because all of the fears, all of the mistakes, any worries, um, that maybe I have like pushed aside, they rear their head because it's like, ooh, you have to address this and handle this before you go into your new year. Like it cannot go with you into the new year. And I'm usually super sad and moody during Libra season where everybody's experiencing the love and beauty of Venus. I'm just like, I am dying on the inside. And we were talking about how this year has been so much more smoother for me in this experience, despite the amount of grief that I had to endure. Being able to close out this year and to have such a smooth Libra season. And it's just because I've accepted the fact that, like, you know, these things come with it, the growing pain, the grief, it all comes with it. But it's also extremely beautiful, right? So when I think about the grieving process that I had to endure, or the first half of this year, like all I see about it now is beauty. Like it led me to this community. It led me to deepening my gratitude practice. It led me to really understanding more of my magic and who I am and how I contribute to the world. It built my confidence up. It helped me to refortify utilizing my resources, tapping into my community so they can better support me. All of that grief led me to those beautiful experiences. All of that pain, that heartache led me to those beautiful experiences. So, in hindsight, if someone is suffering right now, they will get through it. They will. I know people don't think that it's a possibility, and we tend to worry about our loved ones so deeply, so profoundly. You can't stay in suffering forever. Even if you wanted to, even if you try, it's just grief and joy exist in the same planes. It's just not. You're going to experience a moment of relief. You're going to experience a moment of joy. And in hindsight, if you give yourself the time to reflect, you'll realize that all of that was like really for your benefit. And it really did allow you to just grow in a beautiful way. Okay? Mm-mm-mm. Yes, I'm in a strange, moody morning. Yeah, yeah. It's a moody day. I know. I feel it. It's like pre-Scorpio jitters, if you will. Super moody. I love to hear Marquand. Glad she's growing. Yes, yes, yes. Chaos. We get through it and create something beautiful. Yes. Chaos is a part of the feminine divine energy. Scorpio energy is very much dark feminine energy. I think out of any sign you can think of, that dark feminine energy is really all Scorpio's about, and that means chaos. People think that feminine energy is like butterflies and like frolicking in the forest, and there is an aspect of that, and it's absolutely wonderful because that's where you get your relief. But dark feminine energy is like, yeah, you got to grow through the suffering. You have to allow yourself to navigate the pain, and understand that that pain will eventually lead you to pleasure. And that can be a very jarring experience for people when like we're not taught that. We're taught that like pain is pain, it will always be pain, it will forever be pain. And that's just not true. Right? Yes, omen chaos. I definitely feel that. I feel the structures are collapsing, but they need to. Change is needed. Yeah. I'm never surprised that election season is during Scorpio season. Never. It's literally the season of transformation. I'm never surprised by that. At least in this country. Like, never surprised. It makes sense. It just adds up. So yeah, we have all of this coming ahead, and we'll be getting clarity and answers throughout this season, on every level, personally, professionally, globally, local, community wise. And whatever the results are, we're going to need to be able to navigate through it, whether we think it provides us relief or if it just feels like we've added more weight to our experience. We're going to need to be prepared for that. And in order to be prepared for that, you're going to have to shed parts of you that are outdated, that are no longer strong enough to carry you through to the next transformation. That's the beauty of that Phoenix energy. And when we talk about Scorpios, the reason why Phoenix energy is often used is because Scorpio is the only sign that has multiple layers to it, where depending on where you learn it from, there's either 7 layers, 5 layers, or 3 layers. It just depends. But for the sake of time, we'll talk about the 3 layers. And Scorpio at its lowest form is Scorpio, and that is symbolized by like a snake, ironically, not even a scorpion, which now I think about it, like that's like the 5 and 7 layers. But for the main 3, it's usually a snake, and the snake is on the ground and is considered to be very like narrow-minded and unable to have like a big vision. And people tend to operate in a very low level. However, when you really do your research and you decolonize your mind, you realize that snakes are actually a beautiful symbol of feminine divine energy. And a snake has its belly to the floor, to the earth at all times, and it's consistently soaking up that wisdom and nutrients from Mother Earth. So there's a wisdom there that the other 2 layers don't necessarily have access to. So no, it can't be in the sky seeing everything, but it is close to the ground, feeling the rhythm of the earth, taking in that wisdom, taking in that insight. And that is really important. And when a Scorpio, even at that base function, is functioning correctly, not dysfunctional, not misaligned, they get to understand like, oh, I get to be rooted in this feminine energy. I get to be rooted in this wisdom, this darkness, this cosmic womb, right? And I get to enjoy things at a foundational level, right? Then we have the second layer, which is, depending on who you ask, is either dove or eagle, but essentially it's a bird that soars. And now you are no longer in that base level because you've gotten what you needed from it. You're now in the sky, and you're able to have this worldview of like, oh wow, there's so much more to this forest than I realized. Like as a snake, all I saw was just like, the trees and like what was really down to the ground. It felt very imminent because I had to go past it. But now as an eagle or a dove, I can be above all of this and see it, and then laser focus and zoom in when I need to, right? Many people, many Scorpios tend to get stuck in this phase as well. We don't ever get to really evolve into the other phase. A lot of us get stuck between the snake and the eagle phase. But essentially, that eagle, that dove, represents the ability to be able to soar, the ability to be able to rise above, right? And still have that support. Because when we're talking about the visualization of it, the trees always represent the ancestors. Always. Like literally always. And like you're having this ability to utilize their wisdom, see them as this big forest, and see how much support you're actually getting. You can rest on them if you need to. You don't have to go straight to the ground if you don't want to. You get to be in the clouds, be with the ancestors in that phase. And then you would ascend and transform into what is considered the final phase, and that is the phoenix. And in that, it sounds very glorious and beautiful because the phoenix is this mythical bird, right? That may or may not exist depending on who you ask. And it's made of fire, right? It's why Scorpios are considered like the fire signs of water signs. It's made of fire. The wings are beautiful. It is breathtaking, and it is a symbol of transformation. But before it can get to that part, it literally sets itself on fire, burns itself down to ash, and then it is reborn from that ash. that process happens before you get to the beautiful phoenix that when people see it, they're inspired and they're just moved to tears because it is such a beautiful creature. Even when you see it in like Harry Potter and different mythical stories, you see it and it really is just like this, it captures your attention. It makes you rest and focus in on it. And that really is that polarizing mystic driven energy that all Scorpios carry. And when we get to ascend into that space of the phoenix, we then get to show people how to navigate their own darkness, how they're able to move through the pain, the transformation, how they're still able to dance in the darkness. That is one of my favorite quotes that Source gave me. If you cannot dance in the dark, you cannot live in the light. It is very simple. If you cannot dance in the dark, if you cannot enjoy your darkness, there's nothing to do in the light. There's nothing there for you. And you need to have that understanding that that does come before the light, and have a respect and honor for that. And a lot of people don't, you know, a lot of people are always trying to negate it or pretend it doesn't exist. And Scorpio season just doesn't give you the opportunity. You cannot avoid your darkness during Scorpio season. You can just spend the season trying, but you will be exhausted. So I hope that that kind of gives a better understanding of like Scorpio energy. Like I said, those are just the three main layers that most people talk about, but there's like several different variations of this like totem pole energy. Okay. Goddess Mo! Hi. Let's see. Yes, that's what my daughter just said this morning, Lotus. You're on point. Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I also try to steer clear from the news because it gets very loud during this time. I literally do not watch the news. I openly tell you guys that all the time. I stay informed. I have this really strong belief that if it's something I need to know, I'll know about it. It'll get to me some way, shape, or form. But I'm not about to just put myself in there. I'm working on getting my niece to stop watching the news. She watches it with her grandmother and it drives me crazy. Because she's like, oh, is that action news? And me and my sister are like, why do you know about action? Like, what? So we're working on that because it is very dark. It can be very heavy. There's never really any good news in the news, you know? And like, I'm fully aware of how chaotic the world is. I don't need to have like bullet points and like, I'm good. I don't need that for myself. So yeah, I'm super sensitive. I can take on that. I'm not even good at watching like dark movies, like horror movies, and I'm not good at that. Psychological thrillers. When I was younger, as I was still developing, you know, into my Scorpio energy, I loved stuff like that because it just fed that darkness in me that I just didn't understand yet. But now that I understand that it's wisdom, that it's not this inherently evil thing, it's just like, yeah, no, I can't get jiggy with all of that. Like, I can't. Like, I need to have things that are going to help because I'm fully conscious of how vicious this world can be, and I just do not want to consistently feel like I'm drowning in it. And sometimes as a Scorpio, you're not afloat ever. You're always in the darkest and coldest parts of the water, like all the time. It's a never, there's no real relief there. You know, it's just, yeah, I'm in the darkest, coldest parts of the ocean at all times. I don't have the relief that like, you know, the Pisces energy does, or the Cancer can like be on and in and out the water. Like, no, we're in the darkest parts at all times. I don't need to add on to that. It naturally comes with me, you know, like I need to do all of that. That's okay. I don't need that in my life. Hi, Nikki. Oh, thank you so much. Erica, hi. Oh my goodness. I'm just making sure I'm catching up everything. Yes, grand day to all. Goddess Mo. Seems like you were born for Scorpio, Dark Feminine, Lotus. I really was. The more that I'm currently revamping the Lotus Life deck. It's so funny because I shared it with Sia. But I'm revamping it. So it's essentially like this digital tool that I created like 5 years ago, which is so insane. And it's like a vision board and a mood board. And it really helps you to better understand what you want from life and to like bring it into existence. And I'm going to be having a series of sessions where we talk about different aspects of your life so that you can get very clear on what you want to bring in to your new year. And it starts in December. So I'm just going over it, and we're adding in the AI to the experience too, to help people who are like experiencing brain fog and all this cool stuff. So it's integrating like your birth chart, your human design chart. I have an intake form for you. So there's all these different elements that help the AI understand you a bit better. So that way you can really dive in deep and understand how to manifest what you want based off of your energy blueprint, as opposed to just being like things you think you want consciously that have been like implanted into your brain because of like society or like conditioning. Like this is really based off of like when the stars were in the sky when you were born, the energy that lives within you unconsciously. That is what we're using to help us understand and manifest and design a digital vision board that will guide us through this upcoming year, right? So I've been working on that. And of course, I test these things out on myself before I ever give it out to like the community. And when I was doing the way that AI was just kind of like, girl, like, like, you have a lot of like dark energy, lots of Scorpio placements, and because of your Scorpio this and your Scorpio that. So it was so prevalent. It was so cool because these are all things that I intuitively knew, even down to like using EFT. There's a section where we talk about like routines and techniques that you'll be able to use and integrate that'll help you streamline your energy so you can access your power faster. And AI picks up on that too, the way that I've set it up. So it's so cool. And even then it picked up on EFT. And I was just like, that's so like it's in my chart that I should be using EFT for transformation because of my Scorpio placements. And I didn't know that. I just love EFT because it just is so transformative and easy to like link into. And then to have something digest my chart and be like, actually, yeah, it's woven in as like one of these practices that helps you access your superpower. I was just like, what? That's crazy. So I say that to say, like, yeah, it's very woven into my existence. It's woven into who I am. And I do feel like I'm put on this earth to make people aware that darkness is not like a negative thing, that it doesn't inherently mean that you're evil or like a bad person. Just means that like you've probably experienced a lot more heavier things in life. And it does make you pretty much the most aligned guide and practitioner to help people through really hard times. It's no coincidence that people share such heavy and dark things with me, and I'm never feeling like, oh my god, like that was too much. Like I'm a trauma informed practitioner. Like I literally hold space for people to understand and witness their trauma so that they can make peace with it and move forward. That inherently means that I've had to experience a lot of trauma myself, whether it was firsthand or secondhand, to be able to hold space for people and not feel drained. I can't tell you how many practitioners I've spoken to in my lifetime where they're just like, I don't understand how you can do what you do because this feels draining, and it never feels draining for me, but it's because I was built for it. So yeah, super excited about the life deck, by the way. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's literally so good. Like, it's so good. It's like so good. Okay. I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Yes, Lotus is queen of Scorpio season. I would like to think so, I feel like if there's something I would like to, have sovereignty over, I think Scorpio season is like my jam. I also do thoroughly enjoy like a Sagittarius season, and we'll talk about that when we get there and stuff like that. But Scorpio season and I seem to be locked in. Yes, if you can't dance in the dark, you can't live in the light. Yes. Me too. I don't want TV, but my mom 24 hours a day. I think it's a generational thing too, Marquand. Like I don't get it. I'm just like, my mom used to go to sleep to the news. I have to like turn it off. It was a whole thing. Lotus, I thought you might like dark movies. No. I think there's different types of Scorpios. Like my sister's also a Scorpio, and she can like go to sleep to like, like killer, thriller and stuff like that. It's like white noise for her. And I'm just like, did you just see how this person is like just got like dismembered? And she's like, oh, anyway, what are we gonna do today? And I'm like, girl, like what? What's going on? Each of us are different. I'm not that Scorpio. I enjoy Halloween because of the ancestral magic that's involved into it, not because of the goriness. I don't have any patience or tolerance for that at all whatsoever. It used to stress me out when I was younger because my niece, when she was younger, she was really obsessed with the clown from Saw. And the one that has like the crazy red hair and like the weird that was on the bike. When I say she was obsessed, and I just used to be stressed out every Halloween. I'm just like, girl. She's like, oh my God, is that him? Is it Seesaw or something like that? And she would like run up to these people dressed as this clown. I'm just like, oh my God. Like, and I'm just like, can she take a picture with you? And she'd be so excited. I'm like, it's your Scorpio moon. I don't understand this. I don't understand why you at 2 years old are so excited to see like, like Jason, Freddy Krueger. Like she just is a fangirl of them. And it's we all experience our Scorpio energy in different ways. That's the best way that I can put it. She's kind of growing out of it now, which is great for me, but like I try to support her in her exploration of darkness, even if it doesn't make any sense to me. If that makes any sense at all. Yes, yes, yes. I saw it last night. I'm missing see it today. Yes, me too. I don't know if she's up or not, but I did speak to her yesterday or the day before. Lotus, can you speak on how Scorpio translates if it's your rising sign? Yeah, so Scorpio in any of your top three, if you understand the basic energy of Scorpio, which is that it's there to transform, it's there for rebirth, it's there for you to experience wisdom, like profound, deep wisdom, it makes it easier. So when you also understand like your rising sign is how you present to other people, it's kind of what people first experience about you. So my rising sign is Gemini. So people tend to get this very communicative side of me, right? There's like this light-hearted airiness that I also tend to have. When people first meet me, I give off golden retriever energy. And then you get to know me a little bit more. You're like, oh, actually, you're like a black cat. It's just kind of crazy. It's that I don't want to say facade, but for lack of better words, it's like this facade that people get first. It's like their introduction to you. So as a Scorpio rising, your introduction to people's introduction to you could be that sense of like knowingness, that mysticism. There's a sense of wiseness there. Also, we tend to be really good truth tellers because like you really can't lie to a Scorpio. I mean, you could lie, but we just be like, okay, you're just lying about that, but like, sure, whatever. Like, you can't lie to me, but you can lie to yourself. And then people have this need to want to be honest around you. Sometimes too, people can feel very intimidated by you as well, and just feel like, whoa, why are you so self-assured, or why do you have this energy that comes with you that like you just have been here before. It's part of a Scorpio. The same way if you're a Scorpio moon, you feel things so profoundly because the moon rules our emotions, how we can care for each other. And having your Scorpio, your moon being Scorpio, like you're going to feel things so deeply, and you really do transform through feeling your emotions. So can you imagine growing up in a world where people are telling you your emotions are bad for you, and then you're a Scorpio moon? It's just like jarring, right? So if you're a Scorpio Venus, the way that you love is very transformative. People that you tend to love, they come into your life during a time when they need transformation. That's pretty much just the way it goes. Like if you want luck and adventure in your life, you tend to attract a Sagittarius. If you want more beauty and art and culture in your life, you'll attract a Libra that has like a dominant placement. If you want to transform, usually it's a subconscious desire, one that we're not conscious of. It takes us a lot of time to get to that understanding. This is what we actually do want internally, but you will attract a Scorpio. And we tend to either teach or trigger. It just depends on the person and how willing they are to transform. And you can tell when someone's willing or not, because like when people get triggered, they get triggered by Scorpios. It's very much like, it's kind of why we have like a bad rap. People are just like, oh, like you're this and you're that. And it's just like, yeah, subconsciously though, you were asking for transformation and change. And then consciously, you weren't ready to make that commitment, but I already got here. So I'm going to do my part in my job. And then like, you're just going to have to figure it out afterwards. And people don't necessarily enjoy that. I could see that not being a fun thing for everybody. But I hope that answers the question. Let me know if you need more clarity on that, okay? EFT is in my chart. It's so crazy. And I was like, how the hell do you know this? And it's like, when we diagnosed your human design chart and your birth chart, like EFT is that practice that you would use to transform. And I'm like, and when it correlated to my placements, I'm like, no, this literally makes so much sense. But it really does remind you of how intuitive we are and how we tend to like, our bodies already know what we need and what we want. It's our conscious mind that we're constantly trying to decolonize and, remove all of the plaque and just the things you gain from society that have you assimilating to shit you don't want to assimilate to. Once you're able to peel that back, you get to see it. So I love the fact that like the life deck will do that for you automatically. It kind of does that heavy lifting, that brain work, where you might have needed like years of sessions to get to that point to figure out what type of practice you need to use that best utilizes your energetic blueprint. You'll get that like in a 3-hour session with me in like a mastermind of really cool people coming together to realize that. Like it's My intention is to streamline your ability to manifest while also making you very conscious to your power. So when you leave these sessions, you feel like you're in your power and you have a game plan, you have a blueprint that allows you to really wield your power. Like, it's so important that we are able to do that and feel comfortable in doing that. And many of us are not. And we are the people that are here to revolutionize. We are the people that are here to change the way that the world is showing up for itself. And that can't happen if we don't understand our power and we don't know how to wield it because of trauma or because of, a self-worthy wound or whatever else has come in the way to block us. The goal is that this tool, the Lotus Life Deck, will help you to dissolve that block, to be an alchemist, and to witness your power with more ease. So I'm very, very excited about it. It's like, I'm just so excited. Okay. I'm put on this earth to make people aware of the darkness. It's not a bad thing. I am, yeah. When people are like, oh, that's so dark, I'm like, it is dark. But like, why are we upset about that though? Like, somebody said something that if it is light all the time, no, what was the statement? It was really beautiful. It was a tarot reader, and she was speaking about how we need the rain, we need the storms, and how people want to avoid storms so badly. But she was like, remember that a place without any storms is a desert. A place without any rain, without any storms, is a desert. Where it's sunshiny all the time, there's no rain, it's still a desert. Like, it's still an extreme space to be in. You might as well get comfortable with ebbing and flowing so that you can have a lusher experience, because those storms, that rain, that darkness provides nourishment. It provides luxuriousness to your light because you have a deeper appreciation for the light because you had to experience the dark. Like, it's so necessary. Yes. I hate that clown dude. Me too. I'm a rising Gemini too. Okay, Wendy. My sun sign is Gemini twinning. I love that. Yeah, one of the YouTubers that I enjoy, she is a Gemini sun and then a Scorpio rising, and we're in the reverse, and you could tell that we complement each other. It's really nice. Sun, Pisces, Moon, Aquarius. Ooh, okay, Wendy. Wow, there's a lot of movement in your chart. But then you still have your Aquarius to like ground you and keep you anchored, which is nice. Because my Pisces moon and my Gemini rising, I'd be a complete and total mess without my Scorpio placements. I would just feel too much. I would love to like too deeply. It would just be too much. My Scorpio energy really does keep me like centered and not losing my mind. Yep. My son and I are both Scorpio sun signs. Oh, I love this. Heavily tracks. Yes, I'm a Sagittarius. Yeah, like if you're looking for adventure and freedom and you're really serious about it, because that's one thing about Sagittarius is like, please don't not be serious because they just feel like their time is wasted, and then you get that other side of them. Don't do that. Like, if you're ready for adventure, if you're ready to see more of the world, like to travel, to like, that's really what they're known for. Their energy is known for that. You would end up attracting that. That part about the human lie detector definitely resonates. Yeah. So you can lie for sure, but I know that you're lying. And depending on how much I care about you, I may or may not address it. I may just like take a note of it and be like, okay, like you're lying about this thing, cool, and keep it pushing. Or I might be like, why are we lying about this? Like, what's happening? Like, are we not trying to grow? Are we not trying to evolve? Like, let me know what your plan is, because I'm confused right now because this doesn't make any sense to me. Ginger, you're also a Scorpio, right? Am I wrong? No, you're not. Your sun is in Sag. Why did I think you were a Scorpio, Ginger? Huh? How did I think that? Do you have another Scorpio placement? I don't know. You give off Scorpio energy. I could be wrong though. Yes. Okay. Because I'm like, I'm not bugging. Like, you give off Scorpio energy. Lots of Scorpio to keep me real. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Yes, Sister Sag, I love this. When you close your eyes, you're in darkness first, and when you start to imagine, then you birth light. Exactly, Erica. The light is secondary. Yes, and people never want to admit that. And I'm just like, Like, you're literally, do you understand how jarring and how harmful your wellness experience is if you only think that there's light? You're literally skipping over the foundational step, which is probably why you can't sustain any of the progress that you've made, because you're not acknowledging the first step. You're literally ignoring that first step, trying to get to the second one. And it's like building a house on sand. It's just going to collapse. You have to acknowledge your darkness. You have to get comfortable with it. Like, there's so much wisdom there. It's just so much wisdom there. I just want people to understand and know that.
This is a reminder to drink water.
Thank you. Yes, we often devalue the darkness. Yeah. And again, that has a lot to do with like inherent racism and colonization and stuff like that. But, you know, I feel like we're moving past that and we're understanding these dark feminine movements, the black cat movement, like all these fun names that we've given each other, given this energy to have access to it, to feel comfortable enough to talk about it. It's all working its way and healing that collective wound of thinking that we only need to be in the light. Right? Yes, moon immediately conjunct Uranus in Scorpio, plus North Node in Scorpio. Okay, yeah. So lots of transformation for you. This is a reminder, drink water. That's Alexa. Yeah, that's Alexa. I need that reminder too. Thanks, Alexa. Yes, please do. I have my tea with me today. It's like my hormonal tea. It's so cute. This little cup is hilarious. I don't know if you guys have I ever showed you guys this cup. Essentially, these are waist beads. Let me see if I can put this on. So like when I'm cycling, I always use this cup to like remind myself, like, this is actually to help this particular part of your body. It's always fun. I like to be on theme. Cancer sun, Cancer rising. Yeah, water yeah. Cancers. I have a soft spot for Cancer women in particular, because I'm just kind of like, y'all care so deeply and you really be loving, and then like there's this other side. I mean, all water signs have a really deep dark side, like a vicious side to them, but like Cancerian people, particularly women, or femmes, they just tend to have like this softness about them that can come off to other people as naive, but it's not. It's just that I love you. You know what I mean? Then it's like, once they realize you think that they're naive, then it's like a whole other person. And I'm just like, yeah, they think that Scorpios are like the scary sign out of the water signs. We're just more upfront about it. But like Pisces people, chaotic. Cancer people, chaotic. Like, water is not to be played with. Like, it's not a game. Like, it's not a game. Water is a dangerous element. It's also very life-bringing and nourishing. Like, it just really depends on how you interact with it. And people don't necessarily understand that. Or they just think like water signs are like, you guys are too emotional. You guys can't think straight. It's like, okay, sure. Like, let's see how that goes. So you keep thinking that way. See how it works out for you. Right? Yeah, I'm really sweet. Yeah. Like, I think I'm a sweet person. And I'm pretty sure I am sweet to most people. I don't know. That's up for discussion. I actually am not 100% sure. I would like to think I'm a sweet person, but I might not be for a lot of people. Scorpio with Libra rising and Taurus moon. Oh, wow. So like you have that Scorpio and Taurus are sister signs. So like Scorpio has the feminine energy of Mars, right? Even though we're traditionally ruled by Pluto. But we have that feminine aspect of Mars. And then Taurus has the Venusian energy because they're ruled by Venus, and they are the feminine ruled by Venus, because I feel like Libra is the masculine energy. So like there's a lot of luxuriousness there too. Like, you are probably a very stable person, or you would like to be stable. And then you have your Libra rising that kind of helps you to flow, you know? And you have double Venus in your top 3. So beauty, art, being around beautiful things, experiencing beautiful people, like that's super important to you. Like, if you're not in beauty, you probably feel like you're dying on the inside. Hi Elena, how are you? Let's see. Scorpio with Lisa, right? Yeah. And then you have that. Yeah, Kate. Yeah. I'm pretty sure too you probably like a lot of things that have like mysticism to it too. Right? Like I'm really big into magic. Like I'm obsessed with magic, and not like magic like magicians that like do tricks or illusions. I'm talking about like actual energy, using it to like transform and stuff like that. The Scorpio placements really do that for me. Yes. Gemini sun, Capricorn moon. Oh wow. I'm also a Capricorn stellium too. I'm embracing that. That also is why I have a very serious energy about me. Scorpio rising. Okay. That's not terrible. I mean, a lot of mixes aren't terrible. You just have to understand like how to work with it and navigate it. You know what I mean? Like super important. But your Capricorn moon probably keeps you a little stable, but also a little desensitized to your emotions. Which is okay, depending on, how deep these emotions go. Yes. Yes. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna pick some cards. As I do, I just want you guys to take a nice deep inhale, exhale. Already jumping out. And just, if there's some type of clarity you want, an answer to a question, whatever that might be, bring it up to the forefront of your heart and of your mind in this moment and use your breath to do that. Just pull it up to the front of the heart. Pull it up to the front of the mind. And as you do that, I'm going to call on my own ancestors, angels, spirit team, all those who are there for me and mine. I ask that you be here with me and help to provide a clear vessel so that I can channel whatever energy we need for the collective moving forward. Okay. All right. The first thing that I heard was like, be gentle, because this is going to be a very transformative season. Be gentle to yourself, even if the season is not gentle to you. Take with that what you will, but just keep that in mind, that you also don't have to go through the seasons or go through this season being mean to yourself. That's never the invitation. The invitation is never to beat yourself up. It's never to criticize yourself. It's never to make yourself feel small. That's never ever the case, ever. So don't ever think that it is. They're never inviting you to do that. I just want 2 cards. Oh, see, this is what. Fine. I literally asked for 2 cards. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I'll read the cards. I will read all the cards. It's totally fine. It's fine. It's only 1 extra card. Okay. Good to learn here. I'm taking mental notes. Yes, Lotus, you're so spot on. Darkness is the light of consciousness. Thanks for being a living transformer. Oh, thank you. And lighting the way. Oh my goodness. You're so ready to smile this morning. It's so sweet. I'm smiling because really and truly, sometimes these cards, this is the Moonology Oracle deck, by the way. Like these cards, they really do. Sometimes I'll be like, I asked you for 3 cards and you've given me more than what I've asked for. I feel like you don't hear me when I'm speaking to you, and it's a problem for me, but I'm going to smile through it because I'm trying to remain in a good mood. And especially if I do like ancestral readings, it is so funny because I have a whole like setup and stuff like that. Probably speaks to like my Capricorn placements. And their ancestors, like my clients, just be like, yeah, we're going to do 12 cards. And what about it, sweetie? Or you know what, we're only doing 5 because she understands the message. And I'm just like, this is not what I advertise. This is not what it, like, you just do whatever you want. And I have to like, it can be a little bit of a tussle with the ancestors and the energy sometimes because they want to do what they want to do, but you also have to have a level of authority too in dealing with like ancestors and dealing with like energy to be like, yeah, you're not going to bully me around though. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to like pick and choose your battle. Like, am I being bullied? Or do you really need this information to get out to this collective? It's a practice of discernment to see which one it is. I'm usually good at it, but yeah, sometimes I'm just like, why would you give me an extra card if I ain't asked for that? And sometimes I think they like to troll me. It's a whole experience. It's a very interesting dynamic that we have. Oh, okay. We have a lot of interesting energy. Okay. Yes, this was my first deck. Yeah. Okay, so the first card that we have okay, this is so Like, I've never pulled these cards. Okay. Yes, that part I understand. Okay. 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 Yeah, that was weird. Okay. So we have don't let your past hold you back, South Node. See if you guys can see that. And essentially what this card is telling us is that it is super important. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting a lot of information at once. This is a symptom of Scorpio season for sure. But this is okay. What would you like for me to have from this? I don't even use this card. I don't even use this deck publicly. So this is so, I don't even understand what's happening right now. Okay. Okay. Let's go through this as quickly as we can, but still getting the message. So we have don't let your past hold you back, South Node. This is really important. This is a karmic point. This is all about making sure that you're not repeating the same habits and mistakes that kept you where you're at. So you really want to make sure that as you're moving into Scorpio season, that you are not letting limiting beliefs or behaviors hold you back. Like, if you keep doing the same thing, getting the same result, you're experiencing insanity. And this is not the time of the season to experience insanity. We'd much rather you just change, pivot, let it go, and move forward. Even if you don't know what you're moving forward to, even if you don't fully understand why you need to move forward, even if there's resistance towards that, like, we'll deal with all of that later. Really and truly, do not let it hold you back, because we don't want you to feel like you're being dragged into this new experience, into this new existence, but you have to go to the new existence. It's not optional for you to stay back here. So let it go. Release the grip, release whatever control you have. If you are someone who suffers from control, I know I personally am someone who does that. Like, you need to really work on it, because it really does stem from your need for perfectionism and your need to feel safe. So you try to control these outcomes, people, and things like that. That is going to get you into a very shitty situation in Scorpio season, and we don't want that. So we prefer that instead you let it go. Okay? And then this card came up with it. And this is from the African Goddess Rising deck. And I don't use this publicly. I usually use this for like my readings, like my one-on-one readings for clients, stuff like that. Because like a lot of ancestral energy towards it. There's certain decks I just don't use publicly. But for whatever reason, we're using it publicly. So I'm just a messenger. We have Mom Lambo. And she is the goddess of self-sabotage. It's a very beautiful card. Right? And again, we spoke about that snake energy, right? That serpent energy, and how that is directly linked to Scorpio. And we need it for transformation. But what people don't realize too is that a snake has to shed its skin. It has to release it and let it go. Can you imagine a snake keeping on its skin all the time? I don't even know what would happen. Like, it has to shed, it has to let it go. That's the only way that it can grow, that it can get bigger. It's the reason why it's able to live, is because it knows how to let go. You need to embrace that, because if you aren't able to embrace that, you are just sabotaging yourself. And we spoke about how there's no real thing as self-sabotage. Really and truly, it's yourself asking you to surrender. Again, it's asking you to let go of something. And if you hold on to it, you are going to harm yourself. Okay? Second card is in reverse, and it's our North Node, and it says step out of your comfort zone. This is internal work that needs to be done. There we go. Step out of your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is holding on to those old habits and beliefs and patterns and outdated movements that no longer serve you. Like, you need to let that go, and you need to do that internally first. It's not about telling people like, hey, I realize XYZ about myself and I'm going to let it go. No, it's about you being honest with yourself, with your ancestors, with your angels, and being like, you know what? I'm realizing that the way I handle these things, the way I show up, it's just not something that I want to do anymore. Even if I've been doing this since day one, I don't want to do this tomorrow. I need you to help me, to guide me, to encourage me, to let this go, to move forward. And if this that the card is in reverse, because this is something that you have to agree to. You have to make a declaration. You have to decide that you are willing to let go. Are you going to trust your ancestors? Are you going to trust your spirit team, your angels, God, source, universe, whoever you call onto? Do you trust them enough to guide you in this season? Because I can assure you, you trying to guide yourself through Scorpio season is not going to be great. As someone with major Scorpio placements, I am not looking to guide myself through this season. This is why I've been praying to my ancestors devoutly for the past month, and I pray to them as often as I can, but I've been in a different practice because I do not want to navigate the season of my own consciousness, of my own skill set. Like, utilize me the way you need to utilize me, but I prefer the thousands upon thousands of ancestors. I prefer God. I prefer universe, the energy that created all things. I prefer your wisdom over mine this season, especially if I have to face fears, especially if I have to face darkness, if I have to face things that I'm uncomfortable with, if I have to face things that I might be afraid of. I prefer to face those things hand in hand with you. That is a big deal, and it is not something that you should take lightly. It's not a joke. This is for real. You are going to transform in this season. Don't let it be a traumatic transformation. Okay? Then we have adjustments are required, third quarter moon. I really just feel like, honestly, they're just giving us 4 different ways to get to the same point, which is why I only needed 3 cards. But it says adjustments are required, the quarter moon. You could see that, like, in this card itself, like, we're just getting out of the woods. We're just getting out of there, and we're at a halfway illumination, right? This speaks volumes. I also keep getting this thing that, like, the new moon that's happening on November 11th, which is 111, which is All Saints Day. Again, that's the day that the veil closes for the ancestral world, the spirit. You need to adjust in, like, your spiritual practice, whatever that may be. If you don't have a spiritual practice, you've been thinking about getting a spiritual practice, I will start looking into that and seeing what that could look and feel like for you. But you're going to need a little extra boost. For sure. There's going to be some type of awakening or comprehension that you gain on 111, and you want to be able to fully embrace it, because that's going to be like a key to your success. Okay? And then we have another card that's in reverse, and it is the it's time to take action, new moon in Aries. So I think we all have been a little bit bullied by this Aries energy from the last moon, the full moon. And I love Aries energy because you see how it's straight on. It's like, 1 second, let me see if I can get there we go. Like, it's looking at you straight on, and we're at the beginning. So right here, Aries are not afraid to face shit at all. There's never a problem. Like, that's why they have that representation, reputation of, like, just being like, yeah, like, I'll fight you, it's not a problem, like, you know, like, I'll talk about it, I'll say it, because they understand, like, if I face you, you immediately lose any power you may have over me. When you face your fears, they immediately lose credibility. Immediately. They're not these big monsters lurking in the darkness of your subconscious anymore. There's something that you have witnesses in your darkness, you have pulled it to the light, and you're like, hey, I see you, and this is how it's going to go from now on. Either you're going to get in alignment, you're going to dissolve yourself, or you're going to transform and better help me live out this life. But those are your options. Your option is not to stay in the dark terrifying me anymore, though. Like, I'm not going to do that no more. Like, that's not happening. And that Aries energy does help us. So we can still tap into that, still utilize that energy from the super full moon, because a super full moon gives us a bit more energy to work with, right? So when you are facing these fears, I always tell you guys, remember that fear is not a negative thing, right? That fear just simply means that I care about you and I just want you to be safe, and I'm really worried that something's going to happen to you, right? Having that understanding is very helpful, but if you haven't gotten to that level of comprehension yet, being able to address your fears is super important. And not to fight them, not to make them the enemy, but to be like, hey, you over there, come here, so that I can put eyes on you, so that I can acknowledge you. And as you do that, you realize it's not that big. There's like a scene in Soul, the Pixar movie, where, like, the souls that get lost in, like, like they start to ruminate and get lost in their insecurities, their worries, and they start to form into these big monsters. And then once they are acknowledged with love, all of a sudden all that disappears and like that little tiny soul is back. That's essentially what fear is like for us in our subconscious mind. It's like this big thing that just is starting to attract all this extra energy, right? And then we think it's super huge and big and we're never gonna be able to get past it. And then when you acknowledge it with love, all of a sudden it's just like this warm, cuddly thing. And you're just like, oh, you just wanted to make sure I was safe. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm cool. Like, we're good. You didn't have to like, terrify me. I'm okay. It's okay. This is a new experience. I actually don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel like we got this. And you get to have that experience with your fear and begin to heal. You begin to heal parts of you that you were shunning away. The goal of this season is to be whole again. And in order to be whole, you have to embrace your darkness. And there are so many things about us that we are taught to not love or to not like or to, hide away. Whether we think that it's like quirky or it's not socially acceptable or maybe it's like a weird kink or something like that. And we're just kind of like, oh, no, like we can't, like I'm ashamed of it. There's a guilt there, right? There's another word that I want to use, but I'm going to just say the word shame, but it's not the word shame, and I can't think of the word. Things that are taboo, right? Essentially, again, Scorpio energy, Scorpio season. This is the time of taboo. These things that we consider to be taboo, or that we were told by our tribal community that are taboo, or we're told by society that are taboo. This is an opportunity for us to make peace with it, right? So, an example, me and my deep love and affection for mysticism and magic and like the occult, that is easily considered taboo, right? People would immediately think like, oh, you're a witch and you're like doing all these evil things and like you worship the devil and all these random things. It's kind of like, no, no, like y'all are taking it way too far. It's not that deep. Right? I also acknowledge that this energy exists and there's something I'm designed for to experience it. And I just want to experience it. And I'm not about to let y'all make me feel bad about it or make me feel like I'm strange or weird or that I'm unsafe. And that's really what taboo really comes down to. Like, people will view you as unsafe to be around, and then it starts to view you as a threat, and that becomes a danger to your livelihood, right? But if you can accept and embrace all the aspects of you that you may not necessarily like, but maybe you can learn to love, it makes you a really powerful creature, a very powerful being, because they can't use that against you anymore to keep you where they want you to be. When I started to understand that, when I started to tell my story about being unhoused, about dealing with, mental health challenges, dealing with autoimmune disorders, dealing with, domestic violence, these were things that I spoke about to bring from my darkness to light so that people wouldn't use it against me. So if you were like, oh, well, that's why you were in a domestic violence situation, it's like, okay, like what? It takes away that power. It's just like, okay, like, oh, well, that's what you were homeless. I addressed that. I was homeless. That's a true, yeah, that's a true statement. I don't know what was I supposed to cry because you said that? Like I'm trying to understand, like, it takes away power when you address your fears, when you address your shortcomings. It just does. Like, people can't, the thing that they want to hold over you is that shame of like, yeah, you should feel really bad about this, but I don't feel bad about it. I not only did I go through some of the most horrific things that people can experience in life, I survived them. I survived being homeless in New York City. I survived being in a domestic violence relationship. I survived having an abusive parent. I survived my body trying to kill itself because it thought it was a virus. All of these things that were supposed to take me out did not take me out. Do you really think that you have that type of authority or power to take me out, to make me feel bad about myself? Do you know how laughable that is? Now I'm worried about if you understand how your power works. It just stops that. It's literally how you stop being bullied. It's literally how you stop taking shit from people. It's literally how you create healthy boundaries by addressing the fears. These are things that I went through. If you decide to try to shame me because of that, you're going to get a very awakening experience from me. because you're not going to shame me on anything I survived from. I'm never going to feel bad about it. I already lived through it. I already felt bad about it when I was living through it. I'm not going to do that shit a second time. I'm not doing that. No, I don't feel bad about it. No, I don't feel bad about the time I only had 5 cents in my freaking account and I had no idea what I was going to. I don't feel bad about any of that. I lived through it. I survived through it. I don't ever plan on going back. And if I did, I would be going back with experience. I'd be able to navigate it with grace. It has made me a more compassionate and loving human being. You're not going to shame me. You cannot shame me for my taboos. You cannot shame me for the things that I think are interesting that people think are weird. You cannot shame me at all. And that's really the power that comes from embracing that Scorpio energy this season, is being able to live shamelessly. I am not ashamed at all. And when my niece gets old enough to understand my story in life and has questions about it, we can have those conversations and I still won't feel any shame. And there are things that I maybe tend to regret, and I still don't feel shame about that either. I'm just kind of like, yeah, I really wish I didn't make that choice, but I did. It happened. Let's talk about it. Was it a great experience? Was it a wonderful time in my life? But like, sure, if this is going to provide you with some type of wisdom to help you not make the same mistake, we can have the conversation. But if you think at any moment you're going to make me feel less than, 9 times out of 10, you will feel that way when we leave our conversation. And it's not because that's my intention, but it's because I'm in my power and you are not, because you're trying to siphon my power by making me feel bad about something that I've already experienced in life. It just won't work out that way for you. And we deserve to have that level of clarity. We deserve to have that level of confidence and courage to live our lives. There are plenty of things about me that are weird and quirky and strange. And I don't care how people view it because I like those parts about me. I've learned to appreciate them. They make me me. Like, I'm a strange, weird girl. I've always been that way. That's all that I've known. So for me to pretend that I don't know it intimately so that you feel better about yourself, so that you feel comfortable around me, just don't be around me. Like, you don't got to be here. The world is huge. There's so many people to talk to. You don't got to talk to me. Oh, we don't got to be friends. It doesn't have to be that. You can be wherever you need to be to feel more comfortable, but you're not about to change who I am. And that's also why I'm okay when I meet people and I feel like, oh yeah, we're not going to get along, we don't vibe, or you're not my cup of tea. I don't make them feel bad about that. I'm just honest. Sometimes people might be like, oh, like I wish that we could be friends, or I'll be honest, like, our energies don't blend together. Whether they realize it or not is irrelevant. I'm aware that our energies don't blend together. And I don't take it personally. I don't feel no type of way about it. I don't think you're a horrible, mean person either. I just know that our energies don't blend well, and I don't need to have that experience with you. Like, I've gotten enough to know that I don't want to deal with you on an intimate level, and like, I wouldn't take offense to it. I could be completely wrong. You could be an absolutely wonderful human being, loving soul. And that's how I feel though. And I don't want you to take offense to it, but if you do, that's for you and your God to figure out. I don't take offense. People don't like me. I get it. Like, totally understand. Now, what you're not going to do is make me feel bad about the fact that you don't like me and try to like change those things that you don't like about me. Like, that will never happen. It'll never happen. Like, just go away, like, just don't engage with me. I don't understand that. I can never, my brain does not comprehend certain concepts. And that is definitely one of them, of like staying around people that like are trying to change you, or like wanting to change somebody so that you can be around them. Like, I don't get that. Like, why would you do that to somebody? Why would you try to force someone to change? Like, even if it's something like, maybe they have like, they're struggling with addiction, or maybe they are a violent person, things like that, but like they show the softer side. You're like, oh, I would love to be able to see more of that softer side. But like, that's something that they have to decide that they want to do. And I'm not comparing addiction to like violence at all, by the way, because what I was thinking of, that I have to give of my uncle and his journey with addiction, and how my mom would try to force him out of his addiction, and he had to do that himself. And he found something worth doing it for and was able to change his life around. But nothing she did, no matter how dominating she was going to change that for him. And I think about people who were violent and who just that's all they knew because that's what gave them power. That's what allowed them to feel safe by making people feel unsafe. Like, I'm not finna change that for you. Like, if you have these tendencies, have those tendencies away from me. I don't I don't want to do that. That's not what I mean when I say that Scorpios come into your life to transform you. We give you the awareness that something needs to shift in your life. You decide what that shift is and how you're going to shift through it though. I'm not That's extra work. I'm already figuring out my own shit. I'm not doing all that. You know? Okay. Those are the card readings. I'm gonna try to go back and make sure I am reading through everything. Yes, the cards are coming in swinging. Girl, like, really and truly. I'm like, yes, like, don't let your past hold you back. Yes, yes. I knew you were going to use the African goddess. Did you really, Jack? Because I had it next to me, but I was just like, there's no reason why I would need to use this deck today. Like, why don't I even pull it out? But I always listen. I do my best to listen to the ancestors, y'all. It's about your comfort zone. Yes. Are you going to trust? Are you going to try to guide yourself? Yeah, don't do that. Just please trust. Please trust. Sometimes when we guide ourselves, we just get in situations that we're like, how did we get here? Because we were not trusting in source, because we were not paying attention, because we were not looking at the signs and acknowledging them. That's how we got here, right? Yes. Thank you, Jack, for listing all of these for everybody. I appreciate you. If you face your fears, they immediately lose credibility. They do. Yes, they do. They definitely do. You can no longer hold it against me. Yes, with full moon rec sleep. It sure does. Acknowledge fear with love. Yes, they become small and cuddly. They do. They really do. These are beautiful notes, Jack. Thank you so much. Embrace your darkness to become whole. Make peace with what society considers taboo. Yeah, for sure. And most things that are like considered taboo are just generally just people not comprehending culture either. That's a whole other story. Accept and embrace all aspects of yourself, the shadow to become whole and powerful. Not only did I go through some of the hardest things, I survived them. Yeah, BD high, it's also them exhibiting their fear of their reflection that they see. Yes, BD, afraid that they might be houseless, etc. Exactly. Yeah. And then for that, it's just like go to a therapist. Stop trying to bully me. Like, go get actual support for that because that must be really hard for you. You have to carry around projecting that fear into everybody and hoping that it sticks somewhere so you can feel some type of relief and you go home and realize that that fear is still with you. Yeah, I would get support on that. I wouldn't be worried about me and my taboos. I'd be focusing on how I could get actual relief because what you're doing does not work, right? And for some people, it does. Some people can project on other people and have that person carry their energy. I'm just not that person. And I don't necessarily know a lot of people with Scorpio placements that tend to be those people either. We just don't have it in us. It's like, I'm not about to carry your darkness. No, do it yourself or get support. If you try to shame me for what I've lived through, you'll get an awakening. Yeah, you really will. You really will. And I will say it with a beautiful tone. I'll say it with kindness, but I will leave you in shambles because I don't like that. There's a concept that I was learning about yesterday where it says like beauty has fangs, and what people tend to not understand about people who are considered beautiful, and not just like physically, but like in your energy. They think that because you have this loving, kind energy, that means that they can dump on you, and you find out very quickly that that beauty has fangs, or like a rose has a thorn. It's a reason for that. It's because they're not to be played with. You're there to admire. You're there to be inspired, to receive my care and love. But like, if you do too much or if you handle me the wrong way, I will prick you. It will hurt. You will remember not to do it again. Those are your options, right? Um, Here we go. If you think that you're going to make me feel less than 9 out of 10, you will leave. Yeah, yeah. And I've had people do that, and they just are not excited. They're just like, oh, what? And I'm just like, yeah, because you were trying to make me feel small about myself. Why would you do that? My energy is not set up that way. That's so unkind of you. Now your feelings are hurt. I hate that for you, but this is what you needed to experience. Let's see. Making sure I'm catching up. Kate, live shamelessly. Yes, live shamelessly. To the best of your ability, at least. Aloha, Lotus and friends, listening in motion. BD, we're so happy you're here. Why are you not going to do this and make me feel bad that you don't like me? Yeah. People don't like me. I'm just kind of like, oh no. It's been in my experience that when you're forced When you force going against your intuition regarding entering certain friendships or relationships, it never goes well. It never goes well. It never, ever, ever goes well, Erica. It's always a bad outcome. Always. And you're like, how did I get here? It's like, you remember when your senses, your spidey senses were tingling and you were just like, oh, but they're such a good-hearted person. They just went through something. You start to immediately, you immediately use your logic side. So when I talk about when logic becomes dangerous, like you're supposed to use your emotive side first, your emotions, your energy emotion, because it's there to give you information. Then when you acknowledge the information, you use that information to make a logical choice. That is how it works. The same way that the darkness comes before the light, your emotions come before the logic, because your body is feeling and sensing things that logically your brain cannot comprehend yet. It needs information. The emotions carry that information. Then you use said information to make a logical or practical decision. You never make your decision out of logic or practicality first. It will never ever work well for you or the other people involved. It just never does. And for the people that say that it does, it's because they lack a connection to their emotions. They're living disassociated. And for them, it's like, I still reap a benefit. But for me, I'm a win-win kind of girl. If you're engaged with me in any way, shape, or form, it needs to be beneficial for both of us. I don't do win-lose, and I don't do lose-lose. I don't. I just don't do it. And that means I have to have more patience, because I understand that sometimes I'm going to need more time to cultivate a win-win situation. That means I'm going to move a little bit slower. Then I'm going to take better care of myself so I can pick up on the signs, the intuitiveness to know when it's a win-win situation for me. But when you move from practicality and your logic first, you immediately negate the opportunity for it to be a win-win. Because most of what you're thinking about in your brain, not your mind, in your brain, is outdated, because it's based off of things in the past that you've experienced. And that even in itself is warped. One of the things I learned from the conference last week that I thought was very profound, and I had definitely forgot about, is that the past does not actually directly impact you. It's us bringing it forward into the present that impacts us. And that is why EFT tends to work and be so transformative, even for the most terrifying of traumas, because it helps you to witness that you don't have to bring this with you. You can leave it where it's at. You can recall a horrific situation and know that I am no longer there. And we don't tend to do that. Okay? Yes. And being able to discern when someone is inviting us to change and to know the difference between that and judgment. Exactly, BD. If you have these tendencies, have these tendencies away from me. Exactly. African Goddess deck today. Yes, I thought it would be first, but it was second. Look at you and your intuition. I love this. I knew a Scorpio moon who was so good at inviting others to change but couldn't hear a word about their own need to change. They were too busy with doing invitations, and they miss the invitation for themselves. That tends to happen too. When I was younger, I was like that. And being a projector too in human design, I'm really good at pattern recognition. I can see your patterns probably before you do. But if I'm not invited to talk about your patterns, I'm not going to bring it up. And it's that understanding as a projector of like, they say like you are seeing someone you care about and you see that their house is on fire. But if they don't tell you their house is on fire and they need help, you let that house burn down. And it's a very like, but I love them. And like, I don't want, you have to, because you'll be the one to put the fire out, and they'll be like, I actually set that fire on, I set that fire and you just took it out. Like, you didn't ask me. You just assumed that I needed help and support. And projectors tend to be that way because we have a different level of foresight. So I have to start learning, like, if they don't ask me for help, it is not okay for me to give it. That's actually like disrespectful, because then I'm just assuming that they don't know better. They can't get themselves out of it because they're not doing it the way that I would want them to do it. That's super judgmental. Like, don't do that. And I have to grow and understand that. And now that I do, sometimes it's like, damn, I hate to see that your house is burning. And I really don't think that you know your house is burning, but you have not asked for help yet. So all I can do is just love you and be okay with the fact that your house is on fire. And know that when you realize your house is on fire, maybe you'll ask for help, or maybe let it burn to the ground, and maybe you might need help rebuilding it. I don't know where you need my help on your journey. I just know that I can help you on the journey if you choose to let me help you, you know? Here we go. Yes, beauty, nice to have you heading somewhere. Everything has gums and fangs. Yes. My emotions took over. I'm getting better. Pick up on the wins. Pick up on the wins. Yes. When you go from logic and practicality, you immediately give up the win-win. You immediately give it up. You forfeit that ability. Someone might win, but not everybody involved. Yes, intuition is rubbing off on me. I love this for you, Jack. I can't do that anymore. I'm not the fire department. I'm not. You just gonna have to let that baby burn. I, I hate to see it. I do. I hate to see it. One of my favorite expressions is that I hate for this to be our experience together, but if it needs to be, so be it. I'd hate for that to be what we have to do together. However, if that's what we need to do together, let's do it. Very simple. Lotus, what is the app or programming coming out that you're referring to earlier? It's called the Lotus Life Deck. It is a digital template that I created, and it is the new iteration will be available for winter solstice. That's when the first event is happening. So over the past 5 years, I created a digital vision board, if you will, and I've been using it to help me cultivate my life. And my girlfriends were like, "What are you doing? Like, you're winning all these awards, you're doing all these things, you're winning all these like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing?" And I shared it with them. They started doing it themselves, started changing their own lives, and I started to host like these once a year parties where you would get the template, you would meet up with me virtually, and you'd be in this mastermind of really like-minded individuals that are doing incredible things. I've had people who were reverends, doctors, financial gurus to business strategists, educators, like really high vibrational people that care a lot about the work that they do and just really want to be able to support themselves better. And we would come together once a year, usually towards the end of December, to cultivate our life deck and use that to navigate throughout the year. But with feedback, I realized that one, it could be a lot of mental work to do that in one session, and that it can trigger a lot of traumas. So let's say if you have an unhealthy, or you've had really bad luck in the romance department, and then we get to the romance section of the life deck and it's saying dream, put together your dream person. That's extremely hard for you to do because you have a lot of trauma around that experience. So usually during the session, you would work with me and ask whatever questions or insights you need. We would do EFT together, meditate, and help you get past it so you can dream up that romance or dream up whatever that is. But that can tend to be something that we forget when we move past the session. It's like in the session, everything feels good, and then you have to revisit it and it feels crazy. So I revamped it to do 4 sessions. So we'll have one for winter solstice. We'll have one for the patriarchal new year in January. We'll have one for the feminine divine and lunar new year in February. And then we will finish the deck for the astrological new year in March. So we have a full season from winter to spring to cultivate, to dream up, to clarify our dream lives that we want to call in for 2025, and using the cosmic energy as well of getting into spring where everything is coming alive, where everything is growing and healing. And that, of course, depends on where you're at in the hemisphere, but you can still lock into that energy. Energy is energy wherever you go, right? And the intention is for you to be able to get to that space in March during the astrological new year where that Aries energy is telling you to go, 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 make it happen. That Aries energy is happening regardless of where you're at in the world. You're tapping into that and using that to help you live out your life. And then we'll have refresher points during the summer solstice and fall equinox to help people. But it's an amazing little tool. It'll be digital. You can have it on your phone, on your desktop. The goal is for you to use it every single day to help you navigate. It's woven with EFT, a guided meditation, journal prompts, and then you also have AI now that will help you answer questions based off of your human design chart and your birth chart to help you get clear answers. Because sometimes people think that they know what they want and they have no idea what they want. This helps you to really know not only what you want, but what you need and how it's going to best serve you. Okay? So that comes out, the revamp comes out in December. But the old deck is still available right now, but I would tell people to like hold off on getting it. Get the new deck. The new deck is so easy. It's just so much more easier for you to complete. And I'm looking forward to seeing people have that experience. Okay, let me go through really quickly. Yes, if they don't ask me about it, I'm not giving it. It's so true. I hate this to be our experience together. Lotus Life Deck Digital Vision Board. Yes, it's amazing. It really is. If you're someone that struggles with like trauma around calling in your dream life, if you have a hard time manifesting, if you just really don't know who you are, maybe you're in a season of transition and you used to be somewhere, you used to identify with a certain title, and now that title has dissolved or it's shifted or it's changed and you don't know where to begin, I would really start with the life deck. It would be really in your best interest to utilize it, because when I say I've used my life deck and I've not used it, and it is a vast difference to be able to plug in every single day for a few minutes and see the way that I want my life to look, to visually see it, to see my face amongst the places I want to travel, the type of relationships I want to have, seeing those words reaffirm me, knowing that I can update it whenever I want to as I begin calling in these things into the physical reality. Um, it's a very intuitive vision board. It's customizable and it's there to help you really lean into your power. When you're done with each section, we have a section for self-mastery that's happening in December. We have a section for beauty and love, which I'm very excited to talk about, like to really dive into the beauty magic of it all for January. For February, we're talking about relationships, not just romantic, but platonic and family relationships and what that can look and feel like for you. And then we end off with like the money, how you want to call in your abundance, how you want to be of service to other communities. Also, like being able to have social proof that shows you're already living in that aspect. And then if you want to do something for your career or business, if you're an entrepreneur, you'll have that ability to do that in that fourth session. We've broken it down that way, so that way you don't get overwhelmed trying to do it all at once. And you can really ask specific questions to me during those sessions to really get into the flow of things. I've seen this deck transform people's lives over the past 4 years, and it was way more complex than it is now. Now it is so simple to get done. I'm really looking forward to seeing how many people are going to be positively impacted by this experience. Like, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to share this. Like, I'm very, very proud of my genius when it comes to that. I know it's going to help so many people in this world, and I look forward to that. Okay. There we go. Yes, Jack is rocking the clip notes. No, like Jack is really phenomenal with notes. Is he not? Yes. Will you post that in the group when it's available? I definitely will, Erica. Yes. I'm going to start talking about it probably the beginning of November and just giving more of a breakdown. So yes, I will make sure to drop it in not only the emails, but like the group, because it's, and also too, the masterminds that we have, like the actual life parties, they're so much fun. They're legitimately a party. We have a playlist going, we're chit-chatting, we're talking, we're having fun. It's just a good vibe to be in, and you want to be in a healthy frequency when you're calling your dream life. Like, you can't be crying, down and out in the corner trying to manifest your dream life, because you're literally creating so much resistance in doing that. Being in a space where the frequency is high, where you have a container that I've set personally, and I feel that if you've been a part of any live, you know that I know how to set a container for you to feel safe, no matter who's involved. You know that you're going to be safe and that you're going to feel seen. To have that, and then to begin to dream, to use somatic practices like EFT or like breath work or meditation to center the nervous system, to soothe yourself, and then to co-regulate with other people, and then you're creating your dream life from that energy, that frequency. I feel like everyone deserves to have that experience. It's just going to be so good. So good. Okay, you mentioned about journaling. Yes, and had a video link about grabbing a pencil. Yes, Marquand, I did. The video was really good. I can't wait to create my vision board. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to hear that. Lotus Life Deck 2.0 in time for Christmas. And find retailers near you. Yes. It'll be in time for the holiday season for sure. I want us to utilize that winter solstice energy as well. Okay? Yes. Yes, it's available on eBay if you want to, for sure. When to anticipate the deck? The deck is going to drop for the winter solstice, so people will have access to it when you go to the life party. And then I will probably just have it available as a template form if people want to use it and do it on their own. So Sia has been a part of the garden for the past couple of months, so she actually has access to the old deck and the new deck. That's part of the tier that she's in. So she's been using both, and hopefully when she comes on like another live, she can talk about her experience. But she's really been enjoying both of them. And she loves the streamlining process with the AI now when it comes to the new one, because it just makes it a faster process. So yeah, it will be dropping for 12/21. Those are the numbers, 1221. That's when it'll be released. But I will probably be doing like pre-orders and stuff like that and ticket sales for the event itself in the beginning of December. But I want to give the month of November um, the space and time for people to understand why the life deck would be beneficial and just really break down the nuances of it, so you know what you're getting yourself into when you do it. But it's so much fun. It really is so much fun. Like, I love manifesting. You guys know I love talking about wins and all that good things together. So it's gonna be so good when we do it as a family, as a community. Okay. Can you unlock the platform for your birthday party on Saturday? So I'm not. Yes, yeah, I am. I'm going to be doing that for people who are coming to the birthday party on Saturday. If you don't know about it, on the 26th, I'm doing a special Lotus Lounge where we can see each other. We'll be able to physically see each other. You'll be able to talk. I can hear your voice. So if you have the time to come through, I would love to see you and spend like, my pre-birthday party with you all, since I'll be off next week for my birthday. You guys won't see me until after my birthday. I figured this would be a good time for us to like connect and have a heart to heart and all that good stuff. So that is absolutely free. There's a donation aspect to it, but you don't have to donate if you don't want to. I just want to be able to see people's faces and just talk and have a good time, really and truly. There's no real theme other than like celebrating my birthday. So it's just gonna be like a kiki, a good time. But yes, I will do that, Jack. Thank you for reminding me. I will make sure that it's open so that you guys can get in. Okay. How to connect to that link. Yeah, and then yes, the newsletter has the link for the birthday party. I sent out a newsletter, I want to say yesterday. If you scroll down, it says like celebrate with me. It's there in there. And then I'll be sending out another letter email probably on Tuesday. And that'll have the link to this replay, but it'll also have the link to invite you to the birthday party as well. Yay! Thank you so much, Erica. I appreciate y'all so much. I just realized it's an hour and 40 minutes. How did time fly by that fast? So insane, so wild. We're just gonna do a quick like 2-minute breath work meditation experience, but we have enough information to download and to help us navigate the beginning of Scorpio season. So I really hope that this was beneficial to everybody. If it feels good for you, I want you to close your eyes to soften your gaze if you can. If you can't, don't worry about doing that. We're just going to tune in really quickly. Take a nice deep inhale, breathing into the lower belly, breathing into the heart space, and slow exhale, release, letting go, softening the shoulders, relaxing the face, dropping the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Nice deep inhale, breathing in. Slow exhale, letting go. And I want you to place your hand over your heart. And I want you to say this affirmation. I am willing to surrender. I am willing to let God, universe, ancestors, whoever you call into, I am willing to let them guide me this season. I am willing to trust in my spirit team. I'm willing to trust in my own discernment and intuition. I'm willing to face any fears and transform them through love and faith. And I'm willing to dance in the dark so that I can live in my light. Deep inhale, breathing into the heart space. Open mouth, exhale, release, letting go. Knowing that you've set this intention and this declaration over your life to guide you through this upcoming season of Scorpio energy. And that you will not only be supported in this energy, but also through your divine source, through your spirit team. You'll also have the support from me and the art and resources that I've created for you via the replays on YouTube, the live sessions here that we'll have throughout the season, and the podcast itself. You are fully supported in this era of transformation. Allow yourself to transform with grace and with ease. Allow yourself to transform and let it be effortless. Let it be a kind and loving experience. Deep inhale, breathing in. And a slow exhale, letting go. You could gently open your eyes and refocus to the space. And before we go, thank you, BD, for reminding me this is a donation-based practice. I appreciate you so much, BD, for donating. If you are able to donate financially, and you can do so, you can donate during this live. You can donate when the live is done. You can donate at any moment in time. This does contribute to my livelihood as a practitioner. If you do not want to donate through this platform, in the emails, there's always an alternative way for you to donate. And it means so much because I'm actually going to be using my donations to help me do my licensing for EFT because I'm certified and accredited, but I decided I want to go and get licensed. So all of those donations are going to help me in being able to do that. So I appreciate you in advance for what you were able to contribute. And again, if you're unable to donate financially, you can always listen to the podcast, share an episode, join the YouTube family, join the email list. There's so many different ways for us to continue to share energy. Just whatever works best for you. I love you either way. Okay. Kate, thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate you. And I am going to drop the podcast name for those that are new here. This is on any platform. And then on YouTube, you can find me just by using my name. And that's where all of the replays will be as well. Okay. Okay, I love you all so much. Thank you for joining in, and I will see you on Wednesday. It'll be an hour earlier though, okay? Because I have a really amazing girl date that I'm super excited for. But yes, I love you so, so much, and I will see you on Wednesday, okay?